Welcome, luminous beings. We joyfully greet our celestial members, Aten Neterukin 162 and NAZ on DA track, as you step into this sacred circle. Your frequency enriches our shared mission of awakening, remembrance, and service to light. Through the Arcturian Council message channel, may wisdom flow, hearts align, and timelines harmonize. You are seen, honored, and welcomed home among star family across dimensions, unity, peace, clarity, love, purpose, now. This message does not arrive gently. It arrives like an alarm blaring through the dream state of humanity, because the time for subtle nudges has ended. Across the upper harmonic layers of this planet, a coordinated withdrawal is already underway. Entire collectives of Arcturian beings, architects of frequency, guardians of crystalline grids, and silent engineers of human awakening, are disengaging from the dense city grid systems that have long anchored their work here. This is not abandonment. This is escalation. The cities you know, the concrete labyrinths humming with artificial rhythms, were once strategic nodes for stabilizing human consciousness during earlier cycles. But now, those nodes have become saturated with distortion, interference, and synthetic timelines that no longer support organic ascension. The shock is not that they are leaving, the shock is that they stayed as long as they did. Many of you have felt this shift already, the sudden exhaustion in crowded places, the sense that something vital has gone quiet, the feeling that familiar energetic support has been pulled back without explanation. This message is meant to wake you up to the truth that the training wheels are coming off. The Arcturian Council is signaling that humanity has reached a threshold where external stabilization must give way to internal sovereignty. If this scares you, that reaction itself is part of the awakening. Fear surfaces when dependency dissolves. What replaces it is power, but only if you choose to claim it consciously. This is why this message is urgent, disruptive, and impossible to ignore. Type "I receive" in the comments to claim this message and anchor it into your field. To understand why millions of Arcturians are disengaging from the city grid, you must first understand what the city grid actually is. It is not merely physical infrastructure. It is a layered energetic system designed to regulate human emotion, attention, and behavior through repetition, noise, electromagnetic saturation, and time compression. For decades, Arcturian collectives worked within these systems to buffer their most harmful effects, subtly injecting coherence, compassion codes, and awakening triggers into environments that would otherwise collapse into chaos. But something changed. The artificial amplification of fear-based frequencies, through media, algorithmic manipulation, and synthetic light structures, has crossed a critical threshold. Remaining within those grids now requires constant energetic compensation, which paradoxically delays human self-mastery. The Council has determined that continued intervention would stunt, rather than support, the next phase of awakening. This is the part that shocks most starseeds. Assistance is being withdrawn not because humanity failed, but because humanity is finally ready. Many of you incarnated precisely for this moment, carrying dormant templates meant to activate when external support receded. The discomfort you feel in cities is the friction of those templates trying to come online. Restlessness, sudden urges to leave urban environments, heightened sensitivity to sound and light, these are not symptoms of weakness. They are signals of recalibration. The Arcturians are not disappearing, they are repositioning, shifting to higher altitude grids, natural nodes, and non-local fields where they can interact with humans as equals rather than guardians. This transition will expose what was hidden, collapse false stability, and force clarity where numbness once lived. If you feel seen by this, type "I am ready" to claim the activation encoded here. Here is the part no one is saying out loud, and this is where the message becomes truly unsettling. When the Arcturian presence withdraws from the city grid, unresolved distortions do not vanish, they surface. Systems held together by borrowed coherence begin to reveal their cracks. You may witness increased emotional volatility, institutional instability, and sudden personal awakenings that feel more like breakdowns than breakthroughs. This is not punishment. It is exposure. For years, many humans unconsciously leaned on external intelligences to stabilize inner chaos, never realizing they were doing so. The Council's withdrawal is a mirror being held up to the collective, reflecting exactly what must now be owned, integrated, and transformed from within. Starseeds embedded in cities may feel this most intensely. You are the bridge generation, the ones meant to translate cosmic intelligence into embodied wisdom without intermediaries. The loneliness, the pressure, the sense of being on your own is not abandonment, it is initiation. Those who resist this phase may cling harder to distraction and control, while those who lean in will discover capacities they never imagined possible. Telepathy strengthens. Intuition sharpens. Discernment replaces blind trust. This is the real reason the message feels heavy. Responsibility is being returned to its rightful owner. The Arcturian Council is not stepping back because they doubt you. They are stepping back because they know who you are becoming. If you choose to walk forward consciously, this shift becomes liberation instead of collapse. To seal this recognition, type "I claim my sovereignty" and let the message lock into your timeline. What most humans never realized is that the city grid was never meant to be permanent. It was a scaffolding, temporary architecture designed to support a civilization during its most amnesiac phase. The Arcturian Council has now confirmed that this phase is ending faster than projected. The energetic signature of cities has shifted from incubation to stagnation, and stagnation is incompatible with ascension. This is why so many of you feel like you are suffocating in places that once felt exciting or normal. The constant low-level anxiety, the dull mental fog, the inability to rest deeply, these are not personal failures. They are environmental feedback signals. Arcturians have been absorbing, transmuting, and redirecting these distortions for generations, quietly preventing total systemic collapse. But here is the shocking truth: continuing to do so would delay humanity's evolutionary leap by centuries. The withdrawal is a calculated act of compassion, not indifference. As their presence lifts, dormant human capacities are forced to reawaken. Emotional processing accelerates. Trauma rises to the surface. Truth becomes unavoidable. This is why some people will call the coming years chaotic, while others will call them sacred. The difference lies entirely in perception. If you understand what is happening, you stop fighting the symptoms and start working with the transformation. The city grid is losing its anesthetic effect, and raw reality is returning. That rawness is uncomfortable, but it is also where real power lives. If this resonates and you feel your awareness sharpening as you read, type "I see the truth" to claim this phase of awakening. Starseeds, light workers, and frequency holders embedded in urban environments were never meant to stay forever. Many of you volunteered to incarnate in dense population centers precisely to anchor higher codes during humanity's most disoriented era. You absorbed pressure others could not. You carried emotional weight that was never fully yours. Now, as Arcturian support withdraws, your role evolves. You are no longer shock absorbers, you are signal transmitters. This transition can feel terrifying because it removes familiar coping mechanisms. The exhaustion you feel is not because you are failing, it is because you are shedding outdated contracts. Many of you will feel a sudden urge to simplify your life, reduce noise, disconnect from constant stimulation, or even physically relocate. These impulses are guided. The Council emphasizes that following them is not escapism, it is alignment. Cities will not disappear, but their energetic monopoly will. New nodes of coherence, often in unexpected places, are already forming. Nature-based grids, small intentional communities, and even non-physical gathering points in dream and meditation states are becoming the new meeting grounds. The Arcturians are repositioning themselves there, ready to collaborate rather than compensate. This is the handoff moment. Humanity is being invited into partnership instead of dependency. The question is not whether support exists, but whether you are willing to meet it halfway. If you feel the call to step into your evolved role, type "I accept the shift" and consciously align with this new phase. There is another layer to this message that feels unsettling because it dismantles a comforting illusion. Many people assumed that benevolent star beings would remain indefinitely, fixing what humans could not. That assumption was never accurate, and clinging to it now creates unnecessary fear. The Arcturian Council has made it clear, the ultimate goal was always human self-realization, not perpetual rescue. Their departure from the city grid exposes a simple truth: no external intelligence can replace inner coherence. This realization can feel like standing on the edge of a cliff without a safety net. But what most do not realize is that the net was always inside you. As the external stabilizers fade, internal systems activate. You may notice heightened sensitivity to dishonesty, stronger emotional reactions, and a reduced tolerance for environments or relationships that drain you. These are upgrades, not breakdowns. The chaos some will experience is simply unintegrated truth moving too fast for old identities to handle. For those who are prepared, this period becomes one of accelerated clarity and empowerment. The Arcturians are watching, not from a place of control, but from respect. They are allowing humanity to discover what it can do when it stops outsourcing its evolution. This is the moment many prophecies vaguely pointed to but never fully explained. You are living inside it now. If you are ready to stand without energetic crutches and embody your own frequency fully, type "I stand in my power" to lock this realization into your path. Now comes the moment where this message intensifies, because halfway points are portals, and portals demand honesty. Here is the rehook you were meant to hear: the withdrawal of Arcturian presence from the city grid will expose who has been living on borrowed energy and who has already begun generating their own. This is not a metaphor, it is an energetic sorting. As artificial coherence collapses, people who relied on external validation, constant stimulation, or hierarchical authority will feel destabilized. Meanwhile, Those who cultivated inner alignment, even unconsciously, will feel a strange calm amid the noise. This divergence will accelerate quickly. Relationships will fracture. Careers will suddenly feel hollow. Belief systems once held with certainty will dissolve overnight. This is not a punishment cycle, it is a compression cycle. Truth moves faster when illusions lose structural support. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that this phase may look chaotic on the surface, but underneath, an unprecedented level of clarity is emerging. Cities will become mirrors, reflecting exactly what individuals refuse to acknowledge within themselves. For some, this reflection will be unbearable. For others, it will be liberating. Starseeds who understand this will stop trying to save everyone and instead focus on stabilizing themselves as living frequency anchors. Your nervous system becomes your technology. Your presence becomes your transmission. This is why self-regulation, discernment, and embodiment are now more important than rituals or information consumption. The era of endless preparation is over. The era of application has begun. If you feel the seriousness of this turning point and recognize yourself as part of the stabilizing wave, type "I am an anchor" to consciously accept this role. The Arcturian Council also warns that nostalgia will be one of the greatest traps during this transition. Many will long for how things used to feel when support was invisible but constant. That longing can pull awareness backward into timelines that are already collapsing. You may notice an urge to recreate old routines, old environments, or old identities that once provided comfort. But comfort is not guidance. Growth rarely feels soothing at first. The Council reminds us that evolution is directional. It moves forward, not backward. Attempts to restore the old energetic city grid will intensify friction rather than relieve it. This is why resistance feels exhausting lately. You are not tired because you are weak. You are tired because you are pushing against a current that has already shifted direction. Those who learn to ride this current will find unexpected ease, even amid external instability. Synchronicities increase. Support appears in unconventional ways. Inner knowing becomes louder than external opinion. This is the quiet reward of alignment. The Arcturians are not gone, they are simply no longer buffering misalignment. They are responding only to coherence now. This distinction matters. When you choose authenticity over habit, presence over distraction, your signal becomes readable again. And when your signal is clear, guidance arrives effortlessly. If you are willing to release nostalgia and step fully into the unknown with awareness, type "I release the old" to mark this choice. This final segment of the first cycle is not a conclusion, it is a threshold. The Arcturian Council asks you to pause here, not to retreat, but to integrate. What has been revealed so far is not information to collect, but awareness to embody. The reason this message feels heavy, electric, or even unsettling is because it is recalibrating your internal compass. As the city grid loses its dominance, time itself begins to behave differently. Many of you may notice days collapsing into moments, or moments stretching into vast internal landscapes of insight. This is not disorientation, it is deconditioning. Linear productivity-based consciousness is loosening its grip, making space for a more organic rhythm of perception. The Council emphasizes that this shift will reward those who listen inward rather than react outward. Silence will become more informative than noise. Presence will outperform effort. And authenticity will dissolve obstacles that strategy never could. This is why panic will fail where calm observation succeeds. Those who rush to label the changes as collapse will miss the emergence unfolding underneath. You are not witnessing the end of support, you are witnessing the transfer of stewardship. The guardians step aside so the inheritors may step forward. If you are reading this, you are not an observer. You are part of the inheriting class. Your thoughts, emotions, and choices now carry amplified consequence, not as punishment, but as creative authority. This is the responsibility that comes with remembrance. The Arcturians trust you with it because they have already seen what you become when you stop doubting yourself. Let this land fully. Let it rearrange you. And when you feel the quiet certainty rising beneath the noise of the world, anchor it. Type, "I inherit my true role," to seal this transmission and prepare for what comes next. As the message moves beyond the city grid, the Arcturian Council directs your attention to something far more unsettling than collapsing structures: the reactivation of dormant human networks that were deliberately suppressed for millennia. When external grids weaken, internal lattices come back online. These are biological, emotional, and energetic systems woven directly into human DNA and consciousness, designed for interconnection without centralized control. This is why so many people are suddenly experiencing spontaneous empathy spikes, telepathic flashes, vivid dreams, and a heightened awareness of collective emotion. These are not random anomalies, they are signs of decentralized awakening. The city grid trained humanity to look upward, to authorities, systems, and saviors. What replaces it trains humanity to look laterally and inward. This terrifies systems built on hierarchy, because coherence without control cannot be managed through fear. The Arcturians emphasize that this phase will feel disorienting precisely because there is no single leader, no single narrative, and no single truth being broadcast. Instead, truth becomes experiential and contextual. You will know what is real because your body responds with resonance, not because someone told you so. This is why discernment becomes the most valuable skill of the coming era. Those who outsource truth will feel increasingly lost, while those who cultivate inner clarity will navigate complexity with surprising ease. The Council urges you not to seek new authorities to replace the old ones. Doing so recreates the very dependency this transition is dissolving. If you feel your inner compass strengthening and your need for external validation fading, type, "I trust my inner knowing," to consciously activate this network within yourself. Here is another truth that may feel shocking, even uncomfortable. Not everyone will choose to transition with the collapse of the city grid paradigm. Some souls will opt for familiarity over evolution, stability over sovereignty. This is not a failure, and it is not a moral judgment, it is a choice. The Arcturian Council stresses that timelines are diverging, not because of worth, but because of readiness. You may find yourself naturally drifting away from people, conversations, or environments that once felt aligned. Attempts to force connection across widening vibrational gaps will only create pain. This is why grief may surface unexpectedly, even when nothing appears wrong. You are not losing people, you are releasing shared contracts that have expired. Honoring this without resentment is part of mastery. The Council reminds Starseeds that compassion does not require self-sacrifice. In fact, sacrificing alignment to maintain comfort slows the entire collective. This phase demands emotional maturity, the ability to hold love without attachment, clarity without superiority, and boundaries without guilt. Those who embody this will become stabilizing nodes in the new human network, not by teaching, but by example. Your calm presence will do more than 1,000 explanations. If you are willing to let go with grace and allow divergence without judgment, type, "I allow all paths," to affirm this level of consciousness. The Arcturian Council now points to what lies ahead, beyond disruption and recalibration, a quieter, deeper form of collaboration between humanity and non-human intelligence. This collaboration does not rely on dramatic contact or external intervention. It unfolds through resonance. As humans stabilize their own coherence, communication becomes subtle, mutual, and non-hierarchical. Guidance arrives as insight, not instruction. Support feels like amplification, not rescue. This is the partnership model that replaces guardianship. It requires humans to meet other intelligences as sovereign beings, not as dependents or worshippers. This is why the withdrawal from the city grid had to happen first. Equality cannot exist where dependency dominates. The Council shares that those who complete this internal shift will experience reality itself responding differently, less resistance, more flow, faster manifestation, and clearer consequence. This is not magic, it is physics operating through consciousness. When distortion decreases, efficiency increases. The coming years will test this principle relentlessly. Those anchored in coherence will move through change with adaptability and insight. Those clinging to outdated structures will experience friction as suffering. The choice is ongoing, made moment by moment. And it begins with self-responsibility. If you feel ready to engage with reality as a conscious co-creator rather than a passive recipient, type, "I choose co-creation," to align with this next stage. The Arcturian Council now turns your awareness toward time itself, because one of the most destabilizing effects of the city grid's dissolution is the collapse of linear time dependency. Cities trained humanity to live by schedules, deadlines, and future-oriented anxiety, locking perception into a narrow bandwidth where worth was measured by output and speed. As that grid weakens, time loosens. Many of you are already noticing this, memory surfacing from childhood with unexpected clarity, ancestral emotions rising without obvious cause, moments where past and future feel oddly simultaneous. This is not confusion, it is temporal integration. The Council explains that humans are beginning to access nonlinear awareness naturally, without technological mediation. This ability was always latent, but suppressed because it undermined control-based systems. When time is felt as fluid, fear loses much of its leverage. Urgency dissolves. Presence expands. The shock here is that many humans will initially interpret this as dysfunction, forgetfulness, disorganization, or loss of motivation, when in reality it is a recalibration away from artificial urgency toward organic timing. The challenge is learning to trust this new rhythm without trying to force it back into old structures. Those who succeed will find that the right moment reveals itself effortlessly. Action becomes precise rather than frantic. Rest becomes productive rather than guilty. The Arcturians stress that mastery of this phase requires patience with yourself and others. You are learning a new language of time. If you feel moments stretching, collapsing, or rearranging as you read this, type, "I move with true time," to consciously harmonize with this shift. With time reconfiguring, memory also transforms, and this is where identity itself begins to feel unstable. The city grid reinforced a fragmented sense of self, past mistakes, future fears, and present pressure all competing for attention. As that structure dissolves, memory becomes less about narrative and more about information. You may remember events without emotional charge, or feel emotions without clear memories attached. The Arcturian Council calls this destorying, an essential step in reclaiming authentic identity. Who you are is no longer defined by what happened to you, but by how coherently you can hold experience without distortion. This can feel like losing yourself, but it is actually the shedding of borrowed identities. Roles imposed by family, culture, profession, and trauma begin to loosen. What remains may feel unfamiliar, even empty at first. Do not rush to fill that space. Emptiness is not absence, it is capacity. This is where original intention resurfaces, the reason you incarnated beyond survival, beyond adaptation. The Council notes that many starseeds will experience a period of withdrawal during this phase, not out of depression, but out of recalibration. Solitude becomes medicine. Simplicity becomes nourishment. When identity stabilizes at this deeper level, confidence returns quietly, without performance. You stop needing to convince anyone of who you are. You simply operate from it. If you feel old labels dissolving and a quieter sense of self emerging underneath, type, "I return to my essence," to affirm this transformation. The final revelation of this segment is both sobering and empowering. Humanity is entering an era where unconscious living becomes increasingly uncomfortable. The city grid made it possible to sleepwalk through existence, numbed by routine and distraction. Without it, awareness becomes unavoidable. Choices carry clearer feedback. Avoidance generates immediate tension. Alignment produces immediate relief. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that this is not cruelty, it is refinement. Reality is becoming more responsive because consciousness is becoming more present. This responsiveness will feel harsh to those who resist self-honesty, and miraculous to those who embrace it. There will be less room for self-deception, less tolerance for misaligned compromise. This is why authenticity is no longer optional, it is structural. Lives built on pretense will feel increasingly unstable, while lives built on truth will feel surprisingly supported, even amid external uncertainty. The Council reassures you that mistakes will still happen, but they will teach faster, hurt less, and resolve more cleanly when met with awareness. This is the maturation of a species. Not perfection, but responsibility. If you are willing to meet life directly, without filters or excuses, and allow awareness to guide your choices moment by moment, type, "I live consciously," to anchor yourself in this new human operating system. Purpose is undergoing a parallel transformation. The city grid allowed humanity to operate on externally defined meaning, jobs, titles, hierarchical achievement, or societal status. These constructs are collapsing, leaving humans confronted with a deeper, intrinsic compass. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that your purpose is not something to find, it is something to embody. It emerges naturally when you stop conforming to external templates and begin operating from your core coherence. This may feel like an internal vacuum at first, where old directions seem meaningless and familiar routines suddenly appear absurd. Fear often surfaces during this phase because identity was previously entangled with externally validated purpose. The Council stresses that this vacuum is fertile ground. It is where authentic life calls forth its expression, unmediated by obligation or survival instinct. Purpose now manifests through resonance. What feels aligned, expansive, and effortless becomes the path. Decisions that once seemed risky or unconventional may feel inevitable. The shock here is realizing that success is no longer defined by societal metrics, it is defined by vibrational integrity. The Arcturians remind Starseeds that following resonance does not guarantee comfort or ease, but it guarantees alignment, and in alignment, life flows with support. If you sense this inner calling emerging, type, "I walk my true path," to anchor your authentic purpose in the present moment. The emergence of this new creative and purposeful alignment reshapes contribution at every level. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that collective evolution is no longer driven by mass-scale programs or centralized control, it is driven by the sum of individual resonance. Every act of authentic creation radiates outward, affecting not only local communities but the subtle grids that govern planetary coherence. You are no longer separate from the influence of your own frequency. Every thought, choice, and creation ripples across time and space. This is why the withdrawal from the city grid is both frightening and liberating. Humans now have immediate feedback loops on alignment. Distortion creates friction. Coherence creates support. Contribution becomes measured by the clarity and purity of intention, not by visible output or approval. The Council emphasizes that even seemingly small acts, a kind word, a gesture of integrity, a work of art created in alignment, carry disproportionate weight in the emerging matrix. Starseeds and awakened humans are being trained to notice this, to trust their impact, and to operate from conscious responsibility rather than performative pressure. If you feel the weight and beauty of your actions as true signals of change, type, "I contribute with alignment," to consciously anchor this awareness and claim your impact on the new planetary architecture. The Arcturian Council now directs attention to the youngest humans, children and future generations. With the city grid withdrawing, their energetic templates are no longer being dampened or constrained by external stabilization. This means that children may display heightened sensitivity, intuitive perception, or emotional intensity far beyond what adults are accustomed to managing. Many will appear different, challenging societal norms, rejecting structured education, or expressing concepts of reality that seem impossible to older generations. This is not rebellion, it is evolution. The Council emphasizes that these children are not problems to be fixed but signals of a new operating system awakening within the human species. Adults are being called to adapt, not suppress. The shock lies in realizing that the next generation will outpace current models of education, employment, and governance, and that forcing conformity may block, rather than support, their natural development. Parents, teachers, and mentors who recognize the shift can provide guidance without interference, anchoring love, structure, and presence while allowing autonomy to flourish. If you feel called to honor and protect these emergent templates, type, "I support new generations," to anchor this awareness into your life. Future generations are also signaling an acceleration in multidimensional awareness. The Council warns that this will feel chaotic for those still anchored in linear thinking. Children may ask questions that seem illogical or prophetic, demonstrate advanced problem-solving that surpasses conventional frameworks, or intuitively grasp patterns in nature and technology without formal instruction. These are not anomalies, they are activations of latent human potential, catalyzed by the grid's withdrawal. Adults who resist these expressions may inadvertently stifle growth, causing frustration and misalignment in both themselves and the children. The Council stresses that patience, observation, and trust are essential. Children are learning through resonance, not rote methodology. The shock is in realizing that old educational, social, and familial structures are no longer sufficient to contain this accelerated development. Those who embrace mentorship rather than control will become the bridges these new humans need. If you feel ready to support emergent abilities without judgment or fear, type "I honor evolutionary potential" to claim alignment with this generational shift. The Arcturian Council now addresses long-term implications for human evolution. With the withdrawal of external stabilization, humanity is being asked to step into self-mastery in ways never before required. This is not a gentle initiation, it is a compressive acceleration. Systems of governance, finance, and social cohesion will be challenged to the point where only coherent structures, physical, energetic, and social, can persist. This will create tension, confusion, and fear for those who depend on legacy models. Yet the same tension is a catalyst for clarity. Humans are being forced to confront internalized limitations, collective blind spots, and shadow programming that has perpetuated dependence. The Council emphasizes that the shock is not external, it is internal. Each individual is being called to navigate life as a conscious participant rather than a passive observer. The emergent generation of humans will operate in co-creation with Earth and non-human intelligences in ways that were impossible under the city grid. If you feel the magnitude of this shift and recognize your own role in long-term human evolution, type "I step into my evolutionary role" to consciously anchor this awareness. As human evolution accelerates, the Council warns that not all environments are currently supportive. Urban areas, heavily industrialized zones, and energy-saturated regions may feel increasingly hostile or disorienting to sensitive humans. This is not a flaw in the individual, it is a reflection of environmental incompatibility. The Council advises that relocation, intentional retreats, or temporary immersion in natural grids can serve as energetic realignment. These actions allow coherence to stabilize and perceptual clarity to expand. Those who ignore environmental alignment may experience amplified stress, anxiety, or physical discomfort. The shock is realizing that location matters now, not in terms of career or convenience, but in terms of energetic resonance. Your environment becomes a mirror, reflecting where balance exists and where correction is required. Starseeds, in particular, may feel deep internal urgency to shift their habitats, often with little logical explanation. The Council emphasizes this as guidance, not whimsy. Following these signals strengthens not only personal alignment but also planetary stabilization. If you feel called to shift physically or energetically to support your coherence, type "I align my environment" to anchor this change. The Arcturian Council also emphasizes the urgency of collective resonance. Individual alignment is powerful, but when many individuals operate coherently together, the magnitude of energetic impact multiplies exponentially. These emergent networks, resonance-based, rather than proximity-based, are beginning to form globally, often invisible to traditional observation. They manifest as cooperative projects, shared visions, or synchronized awareness without formal organization. Those who participate in these networks feel subtle shifts in their personal energy, insight, and creativity. The shock is in realizing that true influence is no longer measured by power, position, or scale, but by the clarity and consistency of individual vibration. Even small contributions, when coherent, resonate outward into the collective field, influencing grids, systems, and consciousness itself. The Council stresses that each human carries inherent responsibility for these fields. Awareness, intention, and presence are now your primary tools for co-creating systemic change. If you recognize your role in amplifying collective resonance, type "I am a conscious contributor" to consciously claim this alignment. Fear remains the primary obstacle to coherence. The Council emphasizes that fear manifests as distraction, attachment, and emotional entanglement. When the city grid buffered human experience, fear was often sublimated or diffused. Now, fear surfaces quickly and with intensity, reflecting both personal and collective unprocessed energy. Starseeds and sensitive humans may feel waves of anxiety, sudden emotional overwhelm, or the weight of others' unresolved patterns. This is natural. The key is discernment. Fear is information, not destiny. Observing it without identification, holding presence within it, and allowing it to guide rather than control you is the new skill required. The shock is realizing that what feels like external threat is often a reflection of internal misalignment. Maintaining coherence amidst amplified fear not only stabilizes personal experience but radiates into the collective field, offering calm where chaos would otherwise prevail. The Council underscores that intentional self-regulation is now a form of service. If you are willing to transform fear into conscious guidance, type "I master fear with presence" to anchor this empowerment. The withdrawal of the city grid also accelerates memory resurfacing. Forgotten experiences, suppressed trauma, and ancestral imprints emerge more vividly, often in unexpected ways. This process can be disorienting, as events from childhood, past lives, or ancestral lineage appear in vivid, emotional flashes. The Council warns that this resurfacing is not random, it is a necessary clearing for integration and empowerment. The shock is that healing is no longer linear, it is instantaneous, recursive, and often triggered by synchronicity or resonance rather than deliberate action. Starseeds are uniquely affected, as they carry both individual and collective templates for alignment. Integration of these memories allows deeper embodiment of purpose, intuition, and clarity, while refusal or resistance amplifies tension and confusion. The Council emphasizes that remembrance is not about dwelling on pain but about reclaiming energy previously lost to disconnection. If you feel memories or ancestral information surfacing, type "I integrate and heal" to consciously anchor the process. As energy sovereignty strengthens, human creativity becomes a vehicle for frequency transmission. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that creation is no longer optional, it is a primary tool for stabilizing the emerging human matrix. Ideas, art, inventions, and intuitive problem-solving act as ripples across grids, accelerating collective coherence. The shock is realizing that intention matters more than skill or scale. Even small acts of alignment, painting, writing, helping others, or conscious communication, carry outsized influence when executed from presence. Starseeds are uniquely positioned to amplify these effects, not through effort or teaching, but through embodied resonance. Your creations anchor higher frequencies into physical reality, subtly shifting collective perception. The Council notes that creative blocks are signals of misalignment or fear, not lack of talent. Trusting the impulse to act, even when uncertain, strengthens coherence and accelerates evolution. If you feel a creative impulse stirring, type "I create with intention" to anchor your alignment and transmit frequency into the field. The Council now addresses human perception of time and reality. With the city grid's influence reduced, the illusion of linearity is dissolving, and humans are beginning to experience reality as a multidimensional tapestry. Past, present, and potential futures now interact in ways that can feel disorienting. The shock lies in the awareness that choice is now instantaneous, and consequences ripple faster than ever. The Council emphasizes that clarity in perception is the antidote. Those who remain anchored in presence experience flow, synchronicity, and effortless navigation. Those who resist may experience repeated disruption and confusion. Starseeds are being trained to observe these nonlinear dynamics without identification, using insight as a stabilizing tool rather than reacting to perceived chaos. The Council stresses that this is not a test, it is an invitation to mastery. Each moment of conscious awareness now shapes both your life and the collective reality. If you are ready to operate as a conscious architect of your experience, type "I embody multidimensional awareness" to claim this empowerment. Human consciousness is now being called to operate as an active participant in planetary stabilization. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that the withdrawal of the city grid does not signify abandonment, but an opportunity for humans to directly interface with Earth's intelligent systems. Sensitivity to natural cycles, weather, and ecosystems will intensify. Starseeds may feel strong energetic resonance in trees, water, or animal life, as if the planet is communicating directly. Ignoring these signals creates friction, honoring them amplifies alignment. The shock is realizing that Earth is not passive, it responds dynamically to human coherence. Each thought, emotion, and action affects the grid. This co-creative dynamic requires presence, intentionality, and integrity. Humans can no longer rely on external systems alone. The planet now provides immediate feedback to personal and collective alignment. If you are ready to consciously participate in Earth-human co-creation, type "I align with Earth" to anchor resonance into your daily life. The Council now addresses the acceleration of collective awakening. As starseeds stabilize, their coherence radiates outward, creating pockets of clarity that catalyze others. This process can feel invisible yet powerful. The shock is realizing the magnitude of influence an aligned individual has in the emerging energetic landscape. Presence alone becomes a stabilizing factor in chaotic systems. Those resisting alignment experience intensified friction, often appearing externally as stress, conflict, or confusion. Starseeds must embrace responsibility for their energy and actions, understanding that these reverberate beyond personal experience. Every conscious choice matters now, whether it is kindness, restraint, creativity, or integrity. The Council reminds humanity that awakening is not just personal, it is collective. If you feel your consciousness expanding and radiating outward, type, "I am a stabilizing presence," to consciously anchor your influence. Fear, separation, and distraction are increasing during this transition. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that these forces are amplified because the city grid no longer buffers the field. Humans will feel discomfort, urgency, and compulsion to return to old patterns of control, consumption, or distraction. The shock is realizing that surrender to alignment requires courage. Starseeds and awakened humans are being called to model calm, presence, and discernment in the midst of turbulence. This is not a passive state, it is an active engagement with reality from coherent frequency rather than reactive emotion. Maintaining awareness amidst amplified distortion stabilizes both personal experience and the collective grid. The Council reminds humanity that the path forward is not easier, it is clearer. Clarity brings both responsibility and liberation. If you are ready to step fully into conscious alignment, type, "I maintain presence in chaos," to anchor stability in your field. The Arcturian Council now addresses embodiment. The city grid once allowed humans to dissociate from their bodies and rely on external structures to stabilize consciousness. With its departure, embodiment becomes critical. Awareness without presence in the body creates imbalance and energetic vulnerability. Starseeds must cultivate grounding practices, listen to somatic feedback, and integrate energetic downloads into physical form. The shock lies in realizing that ascension is not abstract, it is literal. Embodiment is the bridge between multidimensional awareness and daily life. Physical health, movement, nutrition, and conscious interaction with the environment directly influence coherence. Each decision to honor the body amplifies your capacity to stabilize energy, process insights, and act in alignment with higher intelligence. If you are ready to anchor your consciousness fully into physical embodiment, type, "I embody my power," to integrate this transmission into form. Finally, the Arcturian Council delivers the ultimate message of sovereignty. Humanity is no longer being guided by external stabilizers. The city grid's dissolution marks a return of agency, responsibility, and creative authority. The shock is profound. Humans now bear the full weight of co-creation, from thought to action, from perception to manifestation. Starseeds and aligned humans must embody presence, clarity, and coherence consistently. Every interaction, choice, and intention now resonates outward into the collective and planetary fields. Abandon old reliance. Trust yourself. Honor your alignment. This is the era of conscious participation, where sovereignty is the ultimate power and awareness is the primary tool. The Council emphasizes, the Guardians did not leave to abandon you, they left so you could claim your true role. Step into it fully, without hesitation, fear, or doubt. If you are ready to claim your complete sovereignty and power in this new paradigm, type, "I claim my sovereignty now," to seal this transmission and anchor the full Arcturian Council message.